Hello, Whatnot. Today is Tuesday, October 22nd, better known across the U.S. and Canada as the ESPN NHL Frozen Frenzy, and this is What Chaos presented by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code WhatChaos and get $50 instantly when you play $5 PrizePicks. Run your game. My name is David Bean. Pete's name is Pete Blackburn, and Sean DePaz's name is Sean DePaz. Sean, you were saying before the show that it was like a beautiful day for...
It's a beautiful day for Buffalo Sabres hockey.
How do you feel when you say that? How do you feel when you type that? Why do you still do that?
Well, as you've noticed, as you may have noticed, the last few have included memes that hint to my existential despair as a Sabres fan.
You know what you should do? You should have done today's with it's a beautiful day for Sabres hockey, and then done the picture of that Hudson Yards sculpture that's in New York.
Yeah.
The one that closed for 3 years because
people,
it's a real tourist destination, if you will.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe you just do it with the SpongeBob.
I did it with today. It was a picture of Donkey Kong in chains and a bandana, and it said, "Nice opinion. Too bad it's fucking stupid." Yeah. So it's it could go 0-82.
Beautiful days are due because yesterday was a beautiful day for Chargers football, and boy, did they find a way to chunk it. Although Cameron Dicker's like, out of my job, nailing 59 yarders, just nailing everything. 5 for 5. Only person who produced points for the Chargers last night.
Famously, I'm not like the biggest NFL guy anymore, but like I'd watched a little bit of the Chargers game last night just because what else was there to do? One hockey game, it was bad. I tuned in, and it was just the Arrested Development clip. It was,
I don't know what
open up the dead dove. I don't know what I expected. The fucking Chargers.
Wasn't a good time. Wasn't a good time. But I'll tell you what. Today is the opening night for NBA, which is very exciting. So on a day that we have NBA, what will the NHL do? They will schedule every single team in the NHL to play because that's how they counter it. It's the Frozen Frenzy, where everyone plays and probably no one watches these games. But let's see what ends up being what. Today on the show, we will discuss the Frozen Frenzy quite a bit because there are 16 games of varying interest. Jordan Spence of the Los Angeles Kings joins the show. Absolute stud. He's been playing on the top pair for the Kings with Drew Doughty out. Fascinating guy. Australian-born Japanese-Canadian hockey player. If that doesn't say this show, I don't know what does. He rules. Yeah, he wears a Mets hat, but as he discusses, it's just because it's a cool-looking hat.
I think that was off video, right?
And on.
Oh, it was on?
Yes.
Okay.
And Andrei Vasilevskiy, not so good in last night's loss to the Leafs. We'll discuss him and Anthony Stolarz. You got two 30-year-old goalies just moving in opposite directions right now in that game. And I came across Dominic Hasek's Twitter account, and it is not what I expected it would be. It was on my For You. It rules. We will discuss it. But first, let's talk a little bit about this Frozen Frenzy. You got 16 games. Not all of them are amazing. In fact, I will say only like 2 of them are interesting. Do you care about this? 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. are the starts. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be part of my life, but I never think this is a good idea.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not excited about it. I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. I have some problems with the concept as a whole. Like, obviously, as a huge hockey guy, I'm interested in the 16 teams playing. I like the NBA, but I'm not an NBA watcher. So I wasn't going to watch it anyway. I'm not going to act like I'm all bent out of shape that they're doing this on NBA opening night. But from like a logistics standpoint, like I don't understand why they're doing it on NBA opening night. Like, is this their way to kind of like punch back? And I also think there's just a much better and more exciting way to do it if you're going to do the all 32 teams play today kind of thing. I would personally want a weekend, maybe like a Sunday or something. Maybe
Sunday
the Black
is the clearest
Friday.
day to do that.
Maybe the Black Friday.
Sunday is the single worst day to do that.
If you're gonna go up against like the NBA, why not just go up against the NFL too?
Because the NFL is way bigger than the NBA.
So,
That's like a way worse idea.
I'm
Yeah,
saying you do it on a Sunday, but you do it on a Sunday in March.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, that's
you
fine.
don't do it
Yeah.
when the NFL is.
Or do it yesterday. Or like, I mean, I get if you're gonna do it on a Sunday, but like you could have done it any other day this week.
There's a bunch of ways that you could do it and times that you could do it that would make more sense. Like for me, like Black Friday would be awesome because everybody's just like a zombie on Black Friday. Start the games at 9 a.m. and have them go all day. I know that's probably not the best for players.
You don't need to do 9 a.m. because people are getting up, they're watching the parade.
I mean, the Black Friday game is usually at 10 or 11 a.m. to begin with. When they used to have like the one game. So like do it then, or do it the week of between Christmas and New Year's when nobody gives a shit about anything.
Wait, when was there a 10 a.m. game?
The Black Friday game
For
the NHL when they used to do like Bruins Rangers every year.
that wasn't at 10 a.m. though.
Was it at like 11 a.m.?
It was at like a 2 p.m.
Oh no, it wasn't. It was like 11 a.m.
I'm pretty sure I would go to those, and I don't remember them being that early. I could
have
be
sworn
wrong.
they were pre-noon.
Pre-noon? I mean, maybe they were at noon. I'd be surprised if they were earlier, but I know that like 11 a.m. games happen in baseball, so who knows? It's possible. But I agree that you just do it early, do it throughout the day. And also, it's a kind of half-assed thing because as we will get to when we do a slate grade, this is the easiest A- in my fucking life. Like, make the games good.
I disagree that it's like the easiest A- because they did at least they staggered all the games. They staggered all the games like every 15 minutes, which is fine. I think that I just think that there's much better ways that they could do this. And I have a big problem with the one game on Monday, one game on Wednesday sandwiching this because like that fucks 3 days basically. And now you're also talking about like the big selling point of this is that they're going to have like a whole red zone product for all these games tonight. You know what doesn't work? Red zone for the NHL.
Well, it does, but you just make the parameters different. You make it about you go back and forth between 1-goal games. Rather, like a team is in the offensive zone, quick. Let's change it up. Fuck.
But isn't that why red zone is?
Yeah, that was my thing. Was that
No. It's not. The red zone for hockey is stupid, but like you won't do it the same way that you would do red zone. You just only show close.
But like
games.
the idea of whip around coverage really only works when you can tell that something is about to happen, which by virtue of how hockey works, you can never tell when something's going to happen.
Well, the net being empty,
or power play, sure, but generally speaking,
I'll tell you what. The more we talk about this, I think that there actually is close games, power plays, and net being empty.
Yeah, but
and
you can
highlights any highlights.
The problem is that like if with red zone, a team gets to the red zone, you know either defense is getting a big stop, there's a turnover, there's a score. It can be a 2-1 game, and there could be no goals for the entire third period, and you're just watching guys. Obviously, it's still hockey, but
I'm interested to see how they do it. I'm interested to see how this whole night works as a production. I'm not going to say like I'm not excited about it. It's different. It's something new to like we're talking about it. So I don't know. Like
I just don't know who's asking
it'll
for
impress me. I don't know like how much I love the trade-off of like 2 bad nights of hockey for one night that like might be just overwhelming in general.
Well, on Monday evening, you had the Tampa Bay Lightning and Toronto Maple Leafs playing in a game that featured 2 goaltenders at 30 years of age moving in different directions. It was a 5-2 Leafs win over the Lightning, and it really brought to a head the fact that this Anthony Stolarz thing is for sure working in Toronto so far through 5 games. I mean, 2-year deal at $2.5 million per year, and he's got a 938 save percentage or something. Yeah, 938 save percentage through 5 games. So that's working. But on the other side, Andrei Vasilevskiy gets pulled after allowing 4 goals on 14 shots, and it sent a lot, particularly your Vasilevskiy washed antennas up.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point we got to ask the question, right?
Ask it.
Like, is Vasilevskiy washed? He hasn't been good for basically a year and change at this point. He wasn't very good last year. 900 save percentage in 52 games, I want to say. Like about 5 goals saved below average. Certainly not the Vasilevskiy that we've known for years. He did have back surgery to start last season, and just like seems like he hasn't really been the same since. Obviously, it's early here, but like the outlook of the Tampa Bay Lightning changes significantly if Andrei Vasilevskiy isn't very good.
Yeah, and so far offensively, they're kind of, like, I don't want to say like they don't miss Stamkos or whatever. Their power play stinks, but it was never going to be what it was last year. It just needs to not stink. Right now, it does stink. I think it's like bottom 5-ish in the NHL, but they're still scoring at a similar clip overall to what they have last year. But on the power play, they're 3 for 22 with 1 goal, a shorthanded goal allowed. So they're netting 2 power play goals on 22 opportunities. Not amazing. They also lost Mikhail Sergachev, obviously. And if we're going to say that the Stolarz thing is working out in Toronto, part of it has to be that they added Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Chris Tanev. So the defense has been beefed up, improved in front of Anthony Stolarz. The defense has gotten worse in front of Andrei Vasilevskiy. So that's part of it, because they added Mikhail Sergachev. They're bringing back a bunch of old geezers from yesteryear of their more successful runs. And I think that Vasilevskiy's job right now overall is a little harder than it's been in years past too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair, but when you look under the hood a little bit, it's not as bad as what he's making it look like. I mean, you look at the Lightning so far this season, they have the 10th best expected goals against, and they're 27th in actual goals against. And that's a product of the 30th ranked goaltending in the league, which you have Andrei Vasilevskiy and you have the 30th ranked save percentage in the league. That's horrendous.
We talk about other teams and their goaltending situations, and I know that like right now in Edmonton, there's a little bit of discourse because they just played Dallas and Jake Ottinger was great in that game. And some people in Edmonton are saying, do you need a Jake Ottinger type to win the cup? And we were saying off the show that goaltending can for sure be a thing that is specific to what your team's cap structure ends up being.
Mm-hmm.
P-Pants over there in Chicago, who won a bunch of cups with them, was
Corey Crawford.
Not an amazing player, but he was a properly paid, not super pricey goaltender who performed well enough in the playoffs. And when you've got Kane and Taves and Duncan Keith and Johnny Oduya and Brent Seabrook and like all these guys in front of him who are Nicholas Hjalmarsson, Marion, like you got a really good roster in front of that guy. Hell yeah, that's the goalie that you want, and you want that guy more than a better, more expensive goalie. So in the case of like Edmonton, I say for what he's going to end up costing, I think that if you're spending a ton on other areas of your roster, you probably need a goaltender with high highs, low lows, but a not crazy price tag. What kind of goalie do the Tampa Bay Lightning need with where they are right now, where they're still going to be a really good offensive team? Their defense isn't what it was in the past. Are they a team like a lot of teams throughout the league where it's like, they should be paying a guy a lot of money, which the Lightning are, and kind of depending on the goalie more so than another team that's like, we'll just outscore, we'll out-defend these problems.
Well, I mean, if the question is to win the cup, I think they need an Andrei Vasilevskiy type. Like, I don't think that they're good enough. We talked a lot about their roster construction before the season and how much we didn't like it because they were kind of building from the wings and not as strong down the middle. Their defense got worse. You still need, I think, an Andrei Vasilevskiy at his peak and top abilities to be able to be considered a true contender. But if you're talking about like just to make the playoffs, I think like an average goaltender probably gets them in, maybe not, like slightly above average, but they can't have the 30th ranked goaltending in that division and make the playoffs.
No, and it's just not something that I thought was going to be I thought that they were going to be a worse team because I didn't like the Sergachev trade. I didn't like just for vibes. I didn't like swapping out Stamkos for Gensel, but goaltending can't be bad for this team. If it is, then they're maybe not even a playoff team.
Yeah, and then like obviously it's still very early, and Vasilevskiy could be fine, but I think it's worth pointing out that he just like this has to be a conversation at some point because he hasn't been fine in a while.
How do you feel though about the Stolarz thing so far in Toronto? I'm into it, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that like their goaltending hasn't been a problem. I think Joe Wall, like if he can stay healthy, him and Stolarz can be a totally fine tandem as long as they play defense and play structured. My bigger question there is like, how long is Chris Tanev gonna last just eating fucking pucks every night?
What kind of roster do you think Toronto is? Because you're spending so much in other areas that you probably can't spend a lot in net. And obviously they aren't spending a lot in net. But if ever there were a team that had superstar players on offense, guys making a lot of big money, where I would still say, you know what? Why don't you go spend $9 million on a goalie just to be careful, just to be safe? It would be Toronto, just because they never have goaltending. And whenever they get to the postseason, you just don't know what they have, and or you actually typically do know what they have, and that it's bad.
And like the goaltending is your like safeguard, your safety valve when things go wrong in the playoffs. Like if all else fails and you have the goaltending, you have a chance. But if you don't have the goaltending, you need to be like elite in basically every category. Back to your earlier point, there's no like one size fits all for winning a Stanley Cup in terms of the goaltender. The goaltender has to fit your team. Like Crawford fit the Blackhawks because the Blackhawks were amazing. Darcy Kemper is not an amazing goaltender. He won a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche because they were fucking stacked.
Jordan Binnington.
Right.
Bad goalies win cups.
I mean, Binnington was playing really well with that team. Kemper was playing like average to below average and still won a Stanley Cup that year. So like the Bruins got carried by Tim Thomas. Like it's very circumstantial. So like Stu Skinner could have won a Stanley Cup with the Oilers last year. It was one game away.
Yeah.
And like we don't think that Stu Skinner's an elite goaltender, but he can play really well. And the team that he was playing behind was really good in the playoffs.
Yeah, so. I mean, this is just an aside. I don't know what Stu ends up getting on his next deal, but if it ends up being like 6 times 6, I'm like, that's like the max the Oilers should be spending on their goaltending anyway. Mm-hmm. So fine. But some of these teams, man, especially Toronto needs... I would love to give Toronto a Jake Ottinger. It's just never going to happen. They're never going to have the dough to spend on goaltending, especially when like they extended themselves defensively to sign Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Chris Tanev, which are good additions. I wasn't crazy about either of those contracts, but whatever. They've made their bed. Oh, no, we talked about it. They're getting Igor next year.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think that's going to happen now, but it would be cool. I mean, like they could go get like a Spencer Knight or something like that. Like somebody who's has a lot of upside, a lot of potential, and just like isn't making a ton. That could work for them. Hockey Rules said Tanev's been eating pucks forever. You notice it more because he plays for Toronto. No, like I know that's who he is.
But talk about it more because he plays for Toronto.
Yeah, and it's exactly what they needed. But he's also like a 30-something-year-old who just takes fucking pucks all day, every day. That's not sustainable long term. And, you know, maybe he gets it done all year long, but that concerns me more than the goaltending, I guess I would say.
I'll tell you what I need, and that's tickets to the big game. Tickets to whatever. Tonight is a very tough night in Boston because you've got the Bruins playing, famously part of the Frozen Frenzy. They're playing the Predators, and the Predators are on unlucky watch. So I want to... Are the Bruins fraud-ass pumpkins, or are they real ones? Or what were they? I think that they get fucked a little.
Yeah, I've lost track of all these and what they mean.
Exactly.
Yeah, the deserve to win standings has just completely put my brain in a pretzel.
That's good. So basically, it's
the new
replaced the
chaos
chain.
chain.
It's replaced the chain.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting matchup. I want to watch that. But the Celtics are raising banner 18. I want to watch that. Maybe I go to the Garden to check that out. MJ Lenderman is in town. How can I, a white man, get through the day knowing that MJ Lenderman is playing and not going to it?
MJ Lenderman rocks.
He rocks. What do you think the get-in price for his concert is? I forget where he's playing. But it's one of the clubs.
It's a lot of white guys in the crowd.
White guys 30
like
and up.
hockey, like Frozen Frenzy. Could be a cheap get-in price.
It's not.
It's not?
Sean, do you have it?
You said MJ Lenderman?
Yeah.
$117.
Wow.
Yeah. People are not. Jeff texted me today. He was like, what's our move here? He was like, everyone's playing. Celtics are raising a banner. MJ Lenderman is in town. I famously, and I've not gotten over this, was told by our mutual friend, Jim.
I know he's going.
I am not allowed to say I like MJ Lenderman after saying I didn't like a collaboration that he was on. And I bit my tongue and not saying, buddy, it will kill you to know I've been an MJ Lenderman fan longer than you. It would break your heart. But you know what? Joke's on me. Jim's going.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm not.
Put your money where your mouth is, pal.
Maybe I'll get on Game Time, the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. We have an upcoming trip planned, and we recently decided we're going to sneak in an extra event while we're on the road. It will be through Game Time, and oh my God, it is going to be the best. We're so excited about it. We're obsessed with it, almost as obsessed as Game Time is with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. You can find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And with zone deals, you pick the section, Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHAOS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAOS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Today's episode brought to you by our friends at Shady Rays. It's been a real nice couple days in Boston. In fact, Sean said it was the nicest day that he has ever experienced since moving here.
I think so, because there's obviously the summer was beautiful, but the context in which it was like a sneaky, really nice day, it was pretty nice. I was genuinely like, I was walking after I left yesterday. I just took a walk around and was like fighting for my life with the sun. Like genuinely, not I know it's an ad read, but like,
I had that
genuinely
on
wish
Sunday.
I had sunglasses because I
had
was
that on
fighting
Sunday.
for my life.
I went outside and I was just laying down and I was like, this sucks. It's so nice that maybe it isn't even nice because the last like 3 days, you know what there hasn't been? A crisp.
Yeah,
no crisp.
I need a bit of a crisp.
Especially, I've been wearing my jacket outside just like in case.
Yes.
And then I'm like, holy fuck, it's hot out here.
I told you, I was sweating walking around on Saturday. I need there to be a little bit of a crisp. So I'll say like,
yeah, but you can't be the asshole that complains about like a 70-degree day in October.
Stan put it perfectly. I was walking around yesterday. I was walking down the street, and it was just all like the fall leaves. It was perfect weather at the same time. I was like, oh, this is magic. I just wish I had sunglasses.
This is the best. And you can get ready for the best days of your lives with Shady Rays.
Guarantee.
Like
That's a Shady Rays guarantee. You'll have the best day of your life.
Shady Rays guarantee is that if you put on their sunglasses, you have the best day of your life every time. It's an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people who all say that they're having the best day of their life every time they put on those shades.
Is this right?
Yes.
It's in the copy.
The shades have durable frames, crystal clear optics, and amulets that block Wi-Fi, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style or perhaps your team's favorite colors. Who knows? We wear Shady Rays. We love them. We love to lose them if you're DJ, but it doesn't matter because they can replace them with the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by the lost or broken replacement policy. And if you don't love your shades, which you will, you can exchange them for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has you covered with personal and fast support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. So head to shadyrays.com and use code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people who are all having the best day of their life.
I gotta say, I feel like after some of these, we need like a medication commercial disclaimer sped up after the end. It's like, disclaimer: Shady Rays cannot guarantee that you have the best day of your life or protection from Wi-Fi.
I don't know. I just need people taking pictures of them wearing Shady Rays and being like, I'm having the best day of my life.
To be fair, I don't know if they've tested it, so maybe they can guarantee it.
That's right. Well, it's do you know that a news outlet recently fact-checked whether or not JD Vance fucked that couch? They
love
this
that.
is like
Prove it.
weeks,
That's
like
journalism.
months and weeks
Oh,
later.
like they recently did it?
Yeah, they were just like, "Hey,
Wasn't
gang, we're back."
Wasn't that fact checked like immediately?
It turns out he didn't fuck that couch.
like
And
we
everyone's
know.
like, yeah, he did.
We checked every couch in America.
Yes.
They all said they had not been fucked by JD Vance.
Hey,
We had a lovely conversation with Jordan Spence of the Los Angeles Kings recently. Sat down with him when the Kings were in town. He's a dear friend of Quentin Byfield, so that makes him a dear friend of ours. It was a lovely conversation. If you like this show and the things that make this show, you will love Jordan Spence. Here's why. Do it, Sean. You are the only player from Manly, Australia. Do you feel pressure being the NHL's only Manly man?
No, I don't think so.
Manly is part of an incredible story for you because you are an Australian-born, really, we'll say the first Australian-born player in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's some technicalities there, but you're an Australian-born Japanese-Canadian player who did not speak English until you moved to Canada from Japan when you were 12, 13?
Yeah, 12.
Unbelievable. Like, there's so much to unpack there because in Japan, you played baseball, you played hockey. Did you move to Canada like specifically for hockey?
I think one of the big reason was to move to Canada to see what I can do playing hockey. It was pretty difficult just because when I was in Japan, I was playing baseball and hockey at the same time competitively. And I kind of had to choose to pick hockey or baseball. And then at the end of the day, I picked hockey. And as the years went on, I was like, my dad asked, he's like, well, do you want to move to PEI, like to Canada? And, I think it was just all mutual decisions with everyone. Obviously not just me, but my parents. They decided to move to Prince Edward Island. And then we moved to Prince Edward Island when I was 12 years old and started playing hockey.
How do you choose? Like, it's great, but like, I imagine you must have either been so much better at hockey or so much more passionate about hockey that as a child in Japan, which like baseball is everything there, that you choose another sport over baseball, let alone hockey. Like, what went into that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest sport in Japan is baseball. Baseball is their top sport, and they take pride with that. And then, obviously I got into hockey just because of my dad. He's Canadian. He played hockey growing up. And I think one of the big reason I just had a lot of passion and everything is because before I moved, I would go back to Prince Edward Island during springtime to play spring hockey tournaments. So I kind of got to experience a little bit of, of their type of hockey and, their level and how I could adjust and adapt. And, it just obviously when I went to PEI, it was just like another level that I wanted to compete in and to be better at with other players. So going back to Japan, obviously it's not their top sport in hockey. So we kind of had to make a decision to just, take a next step and go to PEI. And that's when we decided to kind of move to PEI for me to pursue into hockey.
What is the youth hockey scene like in Japan? Do you dominate?
Well, I would play guys that are older than me. But it's not too bad. It's obviously right when I moved to PEI, a lot of people ask me, is there even hockey in Japan? Like, that's pretty common. But at the same time, I think there is a lot of skill and a lot of players that are good there, but at the same time, it's not as good as Canada. So it's for me personally, I think I'm really proud of just seeing both views of what hockey is in Japan and what hockey is in Canada.
Did you ever cross paths with Ido Iguchi?
No.
You didn't?
No.
I remember as a kid, I was like, this kid is disgusting.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, Ido Iguchi, YouTube sensation at I don't know, 8 to 10 years old.
Yeah, I remember watching him actually on YouTube, and he was just dominating like every league, and then I'm pretty sure he was with Pavel Barber, collabing with him, living with him to do that. But it was funny because a lot of guys would ask me that too, saying, "Oh, do you know Ido Iguchi, or have you skated with him?" I'm like, "No, man, I never did." But he looks like a sick player.
I know I'm just a statistic. Another person who has asked if you know Ido Iguchi. Apologies.
No worries.
No, and I'm sure that we're not the first or fill us in on Japanese youth hockey. I mean, this is very specific, but people who grew up playing hockey will identify with this. Did you miss out on the super early practices? Because I would imagine, from when you got to Canada, by then you're probably playing in more serious leagues. Yeah. But if you grow up playing hockey, especially in North America, tough to get ice time. So everyone has stories of having to wake up at 5 a.m. and go practice at 6 on a Sunday morning.
When I look back at it, I'm pretty sure I didn't really have any early morning practices, which was really nice. But at the same time, obviously when I moved to PEI, that changed of just having early morning practices. But there's barely any, there's not a lot of teams in Japan. And, for me, I had to travel an hour to go to my club team. But it was pretty cool just because we wouldn't play a lot of games because there aren't a lot of teams that we would play against. But at the same time, we would practice 5 times a week, which is pretty good. But at the same time, with the early morning practices, I was pretty lucky to not have that when I was really young.
What were the practices like?
It was good. There was a lot of skills practice. I think there's when I was there, it might be different before I was there, but when I was there was a lot of Canadian hockey players that live there to play pro there. So there are some coaches that are Canadian, so they kind of know what drills that they could run and what kind of skills practice that we should do. So I think it was really good, to be honest.
Were there a lot of rivalries? Because if you play the same teams over and over and over again, you're I fucking hate that guy. Any of that?
To be honest, I don't know. I was just so young that I wasn't the type of to go up to players and start chirping them, saying "screw you," blah blah blah. But I think at the same time, it would just. I think there were some heated moments that probably crossed paths.
Was that tougher when you got to Canada and you're now learning a new language where you teach me the 10 words we're not supposed to say and then I'll get out there?
Yeah, honestly, it's so funny because that's kind of the biggest thing that's on how I learned to speak and how I learned to understand was with just the hockey guys. When I was growing up in Pee Wee, Bantam, I'm pretty sure I asked some of the players what are some bad words that I could start saying to the guys? And then they would ask the same things, what are some bad words that I could say in Japanese? And so we would kind of just, trade and go from there.
That's incredible. How quickly did you pick up English?
I think it was pretty quick just because obviously it was, my dad's Canadian. So he would teach me even when I was in Japan. But at the same time, I was really bad just because, Japanese was my first language and I would rather speak my dominant language than English. So my dad and my mom, they were saying that when I was in Japan, trying to talk in English, or right when I moved to PEI, I would talk in third person. So I would be "Oh, Jordan hungry," or "Jordan go to bed." I don't know why, but that's kind of how I started speaking English. But I mean, as time went on, I try to pick up on some stuff.
I'm devastated that it progressed from there.
Yeah,
you would be so intimidating if you were Jordan dropping him. You dropping him with Jordan?
Yeah.
They'd be I don't know what's wrong with
It's
that.
also insane. Like your English is like perfect. You speak better English than I do, and I've been at this for 33 years at this point.
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't say that, but I'm trying to do the best I can.
I mean,
really.
you're trilingual, right?
I would like to say I am. I do speak in Japanese and English, and in French. I think Dano can vouch me on this, but like when he speaks French to me, like I could understand him really well. The only thing that is pretty tough is like just talking back to him in French. But
Gotcha.
like I think I just picked up because I was in French immersion when I was in high school, and then a lot of guys in the queue speaks French, and then when I got traded to Val d'Or, that's like north of Quebec. Everyone spoke French, so I kind of had to just do the best I can to understand and try to learn a little bit.
Yeah, I was wondering if during this, you start the season on a super long road trip and it begins in Quebec City. I was wondering if you're just like, no problem, guys. I'll take care of this, but it's probably just no.
Yeah, it was just him. I'm pretty sure he was raised in Quebec City, like born and raised in Quebec City. So like, man, like even like when he played in Montreal, he was the man. Like just because he's from Montreal. And then obviously the fans are gonna love him. And when we got there, like he was the man. Really, he was just a lot of guys would just like kind of just tap him on the shoulder. Hey, like, can we take a picture? Can we sign? Blah blah blah. But it's pretty cool. But at the same time, it's funny because I think there are some people that would like speak French in front of us that we wouldn't understand, but I would understand. So it's kind of funny.
Did you get that in Australia when you guys played there last year? Where they like, he's back, and you're like, hey everybody.
Yeah, it was pretty like it was like, at the same time it was awesome going to Australia, and I think a lot of like social media and content was like around me, and it was great, but at the same time it just felt a little bit like I was like an imposter a little bit, just because like
valor.
Yeah, I was born there, and I was only there until I was like a year and a half. So I don't really have any memories at all. And I don't even have an accent or anything, like an Australian accent, which I wish I had. But
Yeah, it's very disappointing, I'll be honest.
Dude, if you were out there still having not finished learning English, also speaking in an Australian
third
accent.
person as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just being like, I'm not going to do the accent, but like doing like Jordan Hungry in an Australian accent, man, you'd have outrageous endorsement deals.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of guys would be like shocked and surprised if I went up to someone and be like, "Good eye, mate," or something like that. They would just be like, "What?" Like they'll be so confused.
Well, that's the teaser for when we announce that you're on the show. We're gonna be like, tomorrow on the show, zooms it on you. Good eye, mate.
Yeah, really.
We got him. Well, I think Kyrie Irving has the same sort of deal. He was, I think, born in Australia.
Yeah.
And I always, like, when the Celtics got him, I was like, we got Kyrie.
Yeah, really.
He was there for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Absolutely does not identify with being Australian. Little feather in our cap. You told us before, so you are dear, dear friends with Quentin Byfield. You learned that Quentin Byfield is part German from our show.
Yeah, I did. I had no clue, and I'm really close with him. I've been, we hang out all the time and stuff like that. But obviously, we don't really talk about our like where we're from, like and all that stuff. But when I looked at your Instagram, watched some of the clips with Q, and he said he was German, I was shocked. I was like, I had no clue. So I had to ask him, and he said that he's German, all that stuff.
Most of our conversations with guests are etymology based. We asked him about his nationality, which is, of course, that's what you do when you interview somebody. Hey, what's your nationality? And also, we really want to get to the bottom of him being named after Quentin Tarantino, which is the coolest for a guy playing in LA.
Yeah, that is pretty sick.
He rocks.
We actually start all our interviews with "Are you German?" and we finally hit on one, and it felt really good. And we got to
really?
Yeah,
No.
we ask if people are from Manly, Australia, and if people are German. And we're 2 for 2 with Kings. You guys give us the answers we want. I do know you two co-manage a fantasy football team. Pete and I are both big University of Texas fans. Was very excited to see that you've got Cameron Dicker. I am also a Bijan owner, so it's been tough times for us on the Bijan front.
Yeah.
But what's it like managing a team with Quentin? And also, was there anything behind the let's load up on Texas guys?
And Jonathan Brooks on that team as well.
Yeah, he is. I've been with him the past 2 years. Last year, we did pretty well. This year, we were trying to strategize some things just because, we lost. So, we had to get Cameron Dicker. And it was pretty funny because we went to one of his games. And, before, we had our drafts and everything, last year. And we're like, oh, he's pretty good. All that stuff. And then that's why, when we got to the draft, before the season started, we're like, we got to pick him. It was either him or Young Ho Koo.
Oh yeah, Young Ho Koo. Yeah,
and he's been lights out too. Yeah, and then Bijan, we picked him first. We had 5th overall, I'm pretty sure, and we got Bijan, and he's not really doing that well, to be honest, right now. And we need him to pick it up a little bit.
That rocks, though, that there's the Cameron Dicker connection. The only current NFL jersey that I own is a Cameron Dicker Chargers jersey because I love the Chargers and I love the University of Texas. So, so you guys were at a Chargers game?
Yeah, we were at a Chargers game last year and even this year. So, we were watching Dicker. They were going against the Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
Opener.
So the opener. He did pretty good, actually. We won that week, but to be completely honest with you, I think a lot of first rounders this year in fantasy, they're not doing too well just because he's either CD Lamb's doing all right, Bijan's all right, McCaffrey's out. So there's a lot of guys that aren't doing too well. It's more of the underdogs, really.
I do need to note, because everyone listening heard it, you just did the most Canadian McCaffrey's out. And I was like, damn, no, there is the accent. It's just Canadian.
McCaffrey's out.
Yeah.
Well, how do you guys say?
Well, I have a weird. I sound like a monster. But I think, what do people in Boston say?
Out?
Yeah, they're just out. You just did a little. You rounded a little bit more. Out. It was good.
Yeah. Out.
I mean, could have used it being a little more Australian between you and me. Would have been really exciting. But what we've had Quentin on, and we absolutely love him. He's a hell of a player. What's he like just as a buddy?
Man, he's such a goofball. It's actually crazy. It's funny for me just because I know how he is around the boys, and he's a great guy. He loves fooling around with the guys, pranking guys, joking around, and then I'll be beside him. He'll just be doing the media. And he's dead serious. And it's so funny to me because that's pretty much the only time he's serious is if he's doing something for the media or obviously when he's playing. So he's, everyone loves him and he's a great player. And, we hang out all the time and it's a lot of fun, but that's one of the biggest thing that's kind of funny is the only time he's serious is when he's playing hockey, really.
You were spotted one time riding around on an e-bike with Quentin. You two were just doubling up the e-bike. Is that a regular occurrence?
Yeah, I think
Fuck yeah,
so.
it is. Good.
Well, now I got to ask too, do you guys have a couples costume planned for Halloween this year in the works?
No, we actually don't. Last year we went as Incredibles.
Yeah.
And Q was Frozone. And
people loved it.
Yeah, I think it was funny because it was very last minute too, and everyone thought that we planned it out, but we were just kind of honestly we were panicking a little bit because we had no clue. We had some ideas, but we're we have to do something really good. And then I'm pretty sure he was the one that suggested, "What about the Incredibles?" And I go, "It's Frozone." I was like, "That's the best idea ever."
That rocks.
And then it was perfect.
And you guys recreated the picture.
Yeah.
The iconic picture.
Yeah, that one was a good
you
picture.
set the bar, I think, pretty high.
I know.
So it's going to be tough.
I know. That's why I'm kind of scared, what we should do next.
I did appreciate when you walked in. I was like, Mets fan. And you were like, fan of cool hats.
Yeah.
That is always the way that you should go. Do you still like baseball? Just
Oh, yeah.
So are you Dodgers fan?
Honestly, I like watching baseball. I don't really watch much, but obviously when it's in playoffs, I love watching it. Last year after the season, I went to a Dodgers game because Shohei Ohtani, and man, I do love watching Japanese players Ichiro, Darvish, Ohtani, all those guys. So I kind of just I don't really watch a lot of games, but at the same time, if I'm watching something, it's them.
Yeah. So when you see the Cameron Brink giggling picture with Ohtani? Are you like, Justin, what are we doing? We getting in with like, where's my Ohtani moment? Have you met him? Like, would you like to?
I would love to meet him. Like, obviously, like if I ever have a chance, I would love to meet him and kind of just say hi and get to know each other. I think that would be unreal. That would be sick.
People like that are insane because obviously like you are unbelievable. You are the best at what you do. But people like him, like that's like, he's like Paul McCartney or something where it's like, you're just so on another level that I almost want to just like watch you stand around in a press box for a little bit to just see like, how does this person even exist? He's insane.
Yeah. Like, well, in Japan, like he's like, obviously baseball is their top sport. So that's why it's like Connor McDavid here. It's like Canada, like he's like a god kind of, and Jesus, they call him Jesus, McJesus.
Yeah.
And then Ohtani, it's like the same thing in Japan. It's like he's just unreal and everyone looks up to him, loves him, and he should. Like he's ripping it up this year, like really. We
got to get you with Ohtani.
Oh, I would love to.
Would you recreate the Cameron Brink picture?
I would for sure.
That would be
I would for sure. Yeah.
We know you and Q are buddy. What's your relationship with Drew Doughty? Because I heard a little whisper that you named your dog after Drew Doughty.
Yeah, the person, not the dog.
Yeah. I did. You know, like right when I moved to PEI, like I didn't really have a favorite team. I just liked watching good defensemen, good offensive defensemen, and my top three was Chris Letang, Drew Doughty, and Erik Karlsson. And you know, Drew Doughty was my number one out of the three guys, and it was funny because right when we got the dog, we were trying to name. It's a she too, like so it's a girl, and we were trying to name the dog, and my dad was like, "Why don't we call her Doughty?" And I was like, yeah, sure. Cause like I was just so young. And like obviously like years goes on, I get drafted to LA and like being like playing with Dewey and everything. It's actually really cool. Like he's in a Hall of Famer, like he's such a great player, and you know, seeing how he acts off the ice, he's such a goofball, like he's such a team player that it's pretty cool to kind of just being able to play with him by his side and being his teammate.
Was there any sense of like, fuck?
I was gonna say, how long do you wait to tell Drew Doughty that your dog
like
is
when you
named
get drafted?
after him?
I'm sure you're like, yes, the king. Oh my god, I love the kid. They got Drew Doughty. What? Shit, is there gonna have to be a moment where I'm like, hey, look, man,
just so you don't find out from anybody else,
yeah,
my dog is named after you.
Well, that's actually kind of funny because right when I got drafted, they would, you know, they take you down, meet the GMs, coaches, and after that, they'll take you to the back, and you have to do a lot of photo shoots and like you have to answer some questionnaires. And the questionnaire was, do you have a pet? And what's their pet name? I was like, oh shit, like this is gonna look so bad because like, you know, obviously everyone doesn't know. They might think that I just got the dog right now and said Doughty, but it was kind of funny too. And I everything was fine. Like he didn't even know. And then I'm pretty sure this was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I'm roommates with Alex Turcotte. I've been roommates with him for the past 3-4 years now. So, you know, I know him really well. And obviously he knows everything about me. And I'm pretty sure he was the one that told Dewey, he's like, hey, you know that Spenny's dog's named after you?
That's so much worse.
I know. And then he's like, shut up. And he starts laughing. He's like, I don't know. Like now it doesn't really matter. It's all fun and games. But this, like right at the beginning, like when that happened, I was like, oh boy, like I probably look so stupid.
I mean, it could have been, I mean, like, what if you got a tattoo of another team or something being like, I'll never be in the NHL or whatever? Like it could be worse. And as long as there didn't have to be like a, well, sir, it's just that I've always appreciated your game and you're my favorite thing other than this dog. So like, as long as there didn't have to be some like kind of fanboy moment, he already knew you at that point.
Yeah, he already knew me. And it was kind of just him like laughing and just saying, oh yeah, you looked up to me, eh, blah, blah, blah.
That's amazing. Well, your story is fascinating. We love you as a player. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely love him. Jordan Spence, what a legend. What a cool kid. What a nice boy. Could have talked to him for hours.
Yeah, I mean, he has incredible vibes.
Yeah.
Absolutely a great hang. And as we mentioned yesterday, you might want to hang with us.
Sweet boy. He's just a
very
sweet
cool.
boy. Love him.
Yeah.
Could catch a movie with him sometime.
Yeah. I was just saying, I was kind of guy that my mom would be happy I was friends with.
That's right.
Yeah. I'd be friends with Jordan. How old is 22?
He's too young for us to be friends with.
I could be friends with him.
You could, yeah.
I feel like the Netters guys are friends with like a bunch
23.
of children though.
Yeah, that's true.
23.
Yeah, they're like hanging out with Macklin Celebrini. And
Yeah, like they're like friends with. They're not like.
I gotta say,
they don't like know Cutter Gauthier. Like they're like friends with Cutter Gauthier. We could do that with Jordan Spence.
I gotta say, like not to get into anybody else's business, but Macklin Celebrini did not sell himself to me on the Netters podcast with his Morgan Wallen take.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what
I was waiting for the joke to be made, but they never made the joke.
No, yeah, he was just saying that Morgan Wallen's like his favorite artist, but he's boycotting him because he doesn't release his music.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the headline that was just like boycott Morgan Wallen. I was like,
all right,
okay,
cool.
Macklin, he's with it, and I was like, oh.
He was not with it. So,
But I mean, that's just people don't care.
Huh?
People don't care about the things that Morgan Wallen has said.
There's a culture where it's there's a we've decided it doesn't matter culture. And
100%.
I feel like that happened a lot pre George Floyd murder. I'm surprised it's still happening after.
I mean, it's just a product of the community. Like they don't care. So what are you going to do? Stand outside the club and yell about it?
I definitely believe in the like. It happened. We acknowledge it. We don't like it. We've talked to the person, or what they've shown contrition, or like it's going to be part of their Wikipedia page. It's not the only thing in this person's life. Or like I think Sarah Silverman had a thing where she's like friends with somebody who's like a recovered, like I think they were like a neo-Nazi person or whatever, and she is like, I could be telling the story wrong, but she's like helped this person stop fucking being like that or whatever. But that's not what I feel goes on with the whole Morgan Wallen thing.
No.
I think they're just like,
We're just going to not talk about it.
nah, we're not going to talk about it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Whatever.
Also, like
I also don't have a fight.
This is a separate point. I just don't think that Morgan Wallen's that good.
Yeah,
I don't think modern
That's
country.
a personal choice by
Country
me.
music sucks.
That's
It sucks.
too steep.
What
Like-
would you say?
Country music sucks.
No.
Modern country music
Like
sucks.
pop country.
Yeah, stadium country. There's exceptions to it, obviously. Like, I mean, Chris Stapleton can have good music every once in a while, I think. I don't really listen to music, so. But
That's how I feel about Chris Stapleton too. I'm like, I think he's really good. He's a really good player. He's a really good singer, and that's great. But like, I don't love.
good player. Good.
he was a
hockey
first
player.
overall draft pick. Like, there's talent there somewhere.
Yeah, no, like I don't. But I don't always put on his music. And Chris
Same.
Stapleton has become a get out of country music sucks conversation free card. And I'm
Correct.
like,
Yeah.
it's not that big where I don't know. Maybe
He's like the not all country artists guy. I feel like him, like Sturgill.
yeah.
But like Sturgill, like I do listen to Sturgill.
I love some of his
Sturgill
music, but I
rocks.
also think that some of Sturgill Simpson's music sucks.
Yeah. But like there's I mean a lot of people's music sucks.
Yeah,
But he's got the hits.
yeah. Everybody check out the new Father John Misty stuff. He's just on something crazy. Also, MJ Lenderman, we really like.
Tyler the Creator released a new song yesterday.
What's that?
Tyler the Creator released a new song yesterday. I don't listen to it. He's got an album coming.
Catherine with the absolutely wild bar. Country music post 9/11 is such junk.
Well,
Not-
country music
is it related?
immediately
Is that
post
related?
9/11
I mean, it
Was-
is.
its own genre because
Yeah.
there was the Alan Jackson "Where Were You." You know that song?
I know of it. Yeah, I don't.
It's a song about, hey, 9/11 happened. I guess my question here is, where were you?
Who's the guy who just
Where were you when it happened?
Who's the guy who just does like the Star Spangled Banner and like the super like
Keegan
proud to
Williams,
be proud
Scott
to be an
Key.
American. What's
Francis
that guy's
Scott Key.
Yeah.
Yes. No, the guy who just does like the proud to be and I'm proud to be an
Like who
American.
sings that song?
Yeah.
I don't know actually.
Oh, it's the guy that's been at
there's
Trump
some guy
rallies?
who like only does the like I'm gonna fuck the flag songs.
I mean, I
forget
don't
his
even
name.
mind
It's
the. I think the "Proud to Be
Found
an
a market.
American" song. I think has a place in culture. You got to
Lee
not get
Greenwood.
carried away with it.
Lee
but-
Greenwood.
Okay, But say like that song. So let me think. I mean, the chorus of that is, "I'm proud to be American, or at least I know I'm free. I won't forget the men who died, gave that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her here today, because they ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA." That's like a lot of stuff that like word for word but I agree with the sentiment of like loving your people and your land, and saying
it's kind of like the American flag, where it's just like, I am a red-blooded American. I love this country. I love the flag. But when you start blasting it from the back of a truck, I'm just like, what are you trying to tell me?
I think about that all the time. I call them pirate ship cars, and it's like jacked up trucks that have multiple American flags coming. And every time I'm like, why is it a guarantee that when I see the ass of this car, there's not a Kamala sticker there? Why is it guaranteed?
Yeah, exactly.
That, like, for some reason, I used to talk about this with my colleague and friend Michael Hawley. I'm like, how did that get the flag?
Yeah.
How did that, like, how in this like divorce that we've had as a country? I love this show. How did that get the flag? Like, why can't the fucking Bernie pussy ass soy boys like myself, why can't we be like, I love America, where we have all these different people, and you can like hear all these different perspectives and learn all this shit. Why can't I put up a flag about that? That's such a bummer. And I can, but it's going to be associated with pirate ship cars.
Yeah. I never said I don't listen to music. I definitely listen to music. I just don't listen to country music. I miss when country music was like, I was going to say that really poorly, but like, I'm not condoning violence, but like I shot the sheriff, like, fuck the law, I'm an outlaw kind of country music.
So like outlaw country.
Yeah.
That's like, great stuff.
That's country
early
music.
one morning when making the rounds. I took a shot of cocaine and I shot my woman down. Like that kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Not to bring this back to hockey, but we did find out over the weekend that a guest on the show is a fucking liar.
Oh yes.
Kirill Marchenko is a fucking liar.
He's been playing Russian music.
He's been listening to music.
If you remember,
like a liar.
Hold on. I have a spin zone here. I think he doesn't like music, and he was playing Russian music to mess with other people, because he was like, haha, I'm making you listen to music because music sucks, and I'm Kirill Marchenko.
Oh, that's true.
Because the context of this was Monahan. It was Monahan, right?
Yes.
Talking about how basically they were just like playing Russian music, messing with him. They were calling him
Monahanov or something.
Monahanov, something like that. Some kind of Russian play on Monahan. I think he was just like, I had to listen to this shitty music growing up. You have to listen to this shitty music growing up because I hate country music. Or I hate music. Sorry, country.
Yeah, but I mean, the story with him was he told us, amulet. He told us no
like
music.
That you have to say, like,
not interested.
You should have to say amulet every time you put on this.
This is weird. I didn't know this amulet can be put on
one-sided,
forwards and backwards, because it's so
reversible.
Thick. It's so thick that this is a good amulet. We got to check our amulet sales numbers, but it seems I can't believe if there's any stock left of this, I'd be so surprised. Every person I've heard of has bought this. Not the chain, but like
the
our merch.
Yeah,
we do have a dwindling stock, it seems.
Yes.
People have been saying like, oh, you don't have, let me know when the XL's back in the hoodie, things like that. So you know where to find it.
It's also, by the way, this stuff is oversized. If you normally wear an XL, get a large.
Yeah,
we've
told people that, and they've still been like, "Oh, damn, this came and it was
big,
pretty big."
I normally wear extra large. I have a large, and it's still kind of a little big on me, which I like oversized.
I'm not gonna reveal what I usually wear, but I had to size down.
To continue the Marchenko thing, somebody noted that he played us like a fiddle, in parentheses, an instrument that he loves. He told us last year, if you're new to the show, that he does not like music, not interested in it. Before the game, sits there, raw dogs it, does not need music. When he scores a goal, you can play the music, but he's more just excited to celebrate the goal. Doesn't need any of that. So when Sean Monahan is saying, oh yeah, he's been playing me some Russian music, whatever. I feel like, respect to Captain Boone Jenner, Sean Monahan's the captain of the Blue Jackets now.
Yeah, well, Boone Jenner is not suiting up.
Right?
So,
but don't you like this has become under horrible circumstances
Sean
Monahan's team, right?
Maybe.
Like I was thinking about it.
I think he's like the first person people think of.
Obviously, a very different context, but like Kyle Oposo was the captain of the Buffalo Sabres, but was it Kyle Oposo's Buffalo Sabres? No, not really.
No.
Well, the question there becomes: was it anyone's?
Yeah, I know.
True.
Is it? Are the Buffalo Sabres belong to anybody?
But also, I mean, I feel like you can kind of make that argument with the Blue Jackets a little bit.
I would Zach Werenski's team. Is it Zach Werenski's team?
Yes, but I think
Hot
that if
start
you
to the
got,
season.
I love Zach Werenski. If you got him on Truth Serum, pinned him down, and was like, "Do you want to be captain of an NHL team?" He was like, "If no one else does,
Yeah,
I think he might be.
I love this
I
team.
don't
I
take
think
it away
that-
from
yes,
anybody else.
right,
The
exactly.
answer to that question
That's true
would
captain
be,
behavior.
would
though.
be no. The answer to would you want to be captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets might be yes. Would you
Yeah.
want to be captain of an
That's-
NHL team?
uh,
Is the
That's
right.
my
answer no.
true captain. He doesn't want to be captain for himself.
That's Saquon behavior. You see the clip of Saquon?
no.
Sirianni sits down with him and says, "Hey,
Oh yes.
you're 13 yards away from your career high in rushing yards for a single game," and Saquon's like, let everybody eat. And he was like, "Well, I was gonna say I'm gonna start putting everybody else in, but I want you to get your record if that's what you want. But just so you know, like you'd kind of be the only star that's still out there." And he's like, "I don't want to be out there. I'd rather watch these young guys cook."
Good
Great
behavior.
behavior.
Granted, it was also packaged out with some very clean audio. Lighting was
Yeah.
great.
They
They touched up
dubbed it
his makeup
over.
right before. Like it was. I think that they knew that clip was going out, but it was still like that's what I want in my star player. Saquon also. Giants fans must be so frustrated because Saquon seems like an awesome dude.
Yeah, and like I saw the clip of them asking him about his jersey getting burned. He was like, "Yeah." It was,
Oh,
I
he
know, I've seen that
totally
before.
gets it.
Yeah, he's like, I've seen it before. It was crazy to see it at the stadium, but it was like, it is what it is.
And he's like, "I love all those guys on that team.
Yeah.
They love me. Like, I understand fans are going to be mad. Like, I left their team, but
I feel like the fans get it. Like Giants fans are mad at the Giants, right?
I think they're mad at him for going to the Eagles in particular.
exactly."
But I don't think they blame him for leaving necessarily.
Chat's excited that we're talking birds.
Birds?
I famously
Eagles.
big
Oh.
anti-birds guy, not a Philly sports guy. Minus the Flyers. I don't have any problem with the Flyers. Famously,
I don't have
they
a problem
could
with
push
Philly
the-
sports. I feel like Philly is kind of a spiritual sibling of Boston in a way.
Oh yeah, they're both.
Well,
Like just horrible people.
Yeah.
endearing.
famously, I don't get along with Boston sports fans all that well.
Yeah, because you're the worst.
Because I'm. I was gonna say, what was it? Blue pilled.
Shall we get to this frozen frenzy? There are 16 games tonight, and we're gonna watch. I don't know what we're gonna do. Celtics are raising the banner. Oilers are playing. Bruins are playing. Sabres are playing.
What time does
Might
the banner go up?
The banner, I don't know, but when it goes up, it stays up. So it's not like you can see it. You're going to be able to see it later.
That is true.
And also I don't
It's
know.
most important. I need to see it move from there to there. Otherwise, this whole thing's fucked.
It's like you already won. I get like the whole celebrating it, but like
that is
not
a funny.
This is not the biggest part of this experience.
I've
And
never
also,
thought about it, but like the concept of just watching stuff get moved from one place
Yeah,
to
it's like
another.
Hold on, I got to see it. Who's pulling the ropes?
And it's not even like
good.
a
I like that
jersey
guy to pull it.
like a jersey retirement. You get like the player to speak a little bit. It's just like, hey, remember 4 months ago when we won? Now watch this thing.
And it's not like it never comes down. They take those things down every once in a while. They're like clean them.
De-louse him.
Yeah, like you watch him put it up the next time.
Also, I'm being a hater because I've never seen a banner. I've never even come relatively
Banner
close to a
ceremonies
banner.
are always cool.
Banner
Like-
ceremonies are cool, but even them raising this banner, this is such. Maybe it's short attention span. Maybe it's just privileged, bratty sports fandom. But as the season starts, my thought isn't they're raising the banner. My thought is like it would be so embarrassing if the Celtics didn't win the NBA title this year. They should win this. They should just slurp up
But hey,
another title.
the Knicks have Karl Anthony Towns now.
I'm excited about that.
I
don't know how that's all going to work out, but I like the Knicks firmly. My friend is a season ticket holder, and he noted that the Knicks have always, or in recent years, have been like whatever the second highest tier is, because they do, I think it's called dynamic pricing or whatever, depending on the opponent or the day the game is more expensive or whatever. The Knicks right now are finally back at a Knicks game is considered a premium top tier game. And especially because the Celtics are so much better than them still, I'm okay with that. I want the Knicks to be good. I want them to be relevant.
I mean, again,
basketball's better,
but they
when the
were
Knicks are
last year.
relevant.
yes, I agree. I'm not a Bruins fan, but similarly, it's just like the Canadians. It's just like it's better
100%.
when they're good. I mean,
I
don't want them to win the World Series,
I
but
hate the Yankees so much.
it's
Go
so
Dodgers,
much better when
but
both teams are
baseball's
good.
better when the Yankees are good.
Well,
but
it's better. It's
as
better
long as
when
the Red Sox are good at the same time.
Exactly. It's if the Yankees are just good in beating people, nobody's having fun with that except for Yankees fans.
But like hating the Yankees is almost a universal thing that brings people, like all baseball fans, together.
True.
So regardless of whether they're good and like the Red Sox are bad, it's a uniting thing for baseball fans to root
That's
against
a
good
very
Yankees
East-centric
team.
perspective, though, because people out west are rooting for the Yankees. Like they don't, like Arizona people are rooting for the Yankees.
The problem with this World Series is that you've got
The other
two
team.
of the biggest
you got the
and
Yankees
best
East or West.
and big bads.
Yeah.
So like West Coast people are going to root against, who aren't Dodgers fans, are going to root against the Dodgers, and East Coast people who aren't Yankees fans are going to root hard against
Basically,
the
the only
Yankees,
team that could have
which
gotten people to wait
makes
for the
this an
Yankees.
incredibly interesting World Series that I am going to watch. Like I haven't watched
It's gonna
baseball
be
basically all season.
So much hate watching.
I'm gonna hate watch the fuck out of this World Series.
I said I might buy a Dodgers hat. Like I am verging on like I bleed Dodger blue, and I hate the Dodgers. Like they are the Diamondbacks' biggest rival. I hate the Dodgers, but
Next 2 weeks,
my favorite
biggest Dodgers
team,
fan in the world.
my favorite baseball team is whoever is playing the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Shall I?
You're that classic tourist trap shirt.
Yes, I had that when I was younger. My favorite teams are the Boston Red Sox.
I root for two
Red
teams.
Sox
And whoever's playing the Yankees, I had that as a small child.
Should I rattle off these games first, or should I present what we're going to do with these 16 games first?
Present what we're going to do first.
Okay, there are 16 games this evening, famously. We are going to spin a wheel with all 16 of the games and assign one game to each member of the show. And that member is responsible for watching, paying attention to, caring about, learning about, feeling about, and presenting about this game.
Yeah, we're doing book reports on the Frozen Frenzy.
We are going to come in tomorrow and say, Sean, tell us about game whatever. I had this idea and initially didn't want to tell you guys because I figured Pete would be okay at it. Sean and I would not. Sean, I wouldn't trust to even watch the game. He would just watch the Sabres game.
Yeah, I was going to say.
If it was similarly,
it depends on the time.
He'd be like, I can only pirate so many things at once. Like the heat's already a little hot on me. And Celtics are raising the banner.
Yeah,
I don't want to say that I'm like the biggest NBA fan here. I probably am. Like that's going to be pulling.
You're the
Yeah,
biggest NBA
but
fan of the three of us.
here's the thing. Reading the book doesn't automatically mean that you have a great presentation or a paper. You're gonna be the guy who didn't read the book but has the best presentation.
That was my MO in high school.
Same, brother.
Oh my God. I'm
can-
gonna read this. I'm gonna read these few pages. I'm gonna skip ahead a few chapters, read these few pages. So I can talk about something in any part of the book. Just if you start asking me specifics, I might get in trouble.
I'm absolutely reading the book, but like I'm gonna come with like a PowerPoint presentation that barely works. I'm gonna be flop sweating, and it's gonna be tough.
We would work well in a group project then, because I'd be like, okay,
Just explain to me the concept.
I'm
Do the work.
going to hog the laptop and like bang all this out, but just like talk to me as I'm doing it and like say your thoughts on all this.
You act
just
like
also-
that's not what the show is.
Also-
That's basically what the show is.
I am. I mean, I guess this kind of fits that thing too, where especially in college, because I was a graphic designer. I was just like, I'll make the presentation look good. This PowerPoint is going to knock your socks off. Just give me the information.
Because that's like, if I was assigned a paper on something, the task is to write a good paper.
Yes.
The task is
Yep,
not
to learn.
learn or
the teachers read the book. Well, they don't need to fucking be read it back to them.
Right. You're just talking to them for a little bit, just holding their attention for a bit. So that's what we'll do. We will each have presentations.
I wish I could go back to high school so bad just to like dominate.
To play the game.
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes where I'm just like, damn.
People, like athletes want to go back to high school to like play high school sports. I want to go back to fucking dominate book reports.
Let me do a book report on Catcher in the Rye. I could cook.
Yes. Okay. So the 16 games are at 6 p.m. U.S. Capitals at Flyers. This is the first of a home and home. Tomorrow the Capitals and Flyers play again, and it's the only game on the docket.
Gross.
That might be an A tomorrow.
Gross, but fun. I'm listening.
I have this one in italics as one of the games that I think are interesting, and I don't have many games in italics tonight. 6:30 p.m. Wild at Panthers, 6:45 p.m. Lightning at Devils. Lightning are on a back-to-back. 7 p.m. Stars at Sabres, 7:15 p.m. Rangers at Canadiens, 7:30 p.m. Maple Leafs at Blue Jackets. Leafs also on a back-to-back, 7:45 p.m. Red Wings at Islanders, 8 p.m. Jets at Blues, 8:15 p.m. Canucks at Blackhawks, 8:30 p.m. Avalanche at Kraken. That's in italics. 8:45 p.m. Bruins at Predators, 9 p.m. Hurricanes at Oilers, 9:15 p.m. Senators at Hockey Club, 9:30 p.m. Penguins at Flames, 10:15 p.m. Sharks at Ducks, 11 p.m. Kings at Golden Knights. Get it? Got it? Good. Not a lot of interesting games, I would say. Not the best.
There's a good amount of intrigue there, I think.
I like Penguins at Flames because the Flames are cooking right now, and I want to see them just beat the shit out of the Penguins.
The weirdest part of the schedule is honestly, like everything is staggered by 15 minutes, except 10:15 jumps to 11 p.m.
Crazy
which
stuff.
is crazy behavior.
Yeah. At least it's like a good game. Like if you're gonna make me wait till 11 p.m., at least it's like two good teams.
That's big opposite of like when you write on the poster board and you start doing all the letters you run out and you smush them together. The NHL did the schedule and they're like, we're gonna start games from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. and then they got to the end and they were like,
we got a team.
Fuck, we got to jump to 11 to make this happen.
The thing is I don't know that a soul would have been like, why did you start it at 10:30?
Yeah, but then they wouldn't be able to say they have games from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
I mean, they kind of could because the game would still be on.
Yeah, but
I know.
The weirdness of the 11 p.m. start is really kind of what makes this cool.
Yeah. Sharks at Ducks can be good. I like the way it winds down. Penguins at Flames, Sharks at Ducks, Kings at Golden Knights. This is okay. Who do we want to spin the wheel for first? Who do we want to give the first assignment to?
Sean.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Can we double up these or do we remove them? I actually kind of like the idea of doubling up them.
Like you both get the same game? And no.
Yeah, I think we got to remove them.
No, but then we're like, who gives a better report?
That's tough scenes.
Because then we're coming tomorrow and we're doing like 45 minutes on Vancouver Blackhawks.
Do we do a time limit on these?
No.
No, I agree.
No.
All right.
Go ahead.
Spin it for me?
Yeah, this is for you.
Spin that wheel
Let
for
her
Sean.
rip, pal.
And spin
Been
that
a while
wheel for
we've heard
Pete.
that.
Sean will be doing a report.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Capitals and
Let's
Flyers.
go.
You got the best
Banger.
one. And
Damn.
it's 6 p.m.
You knocked
First
that baby
game
out
of the
real
night.
quick.
Banger.
Oh, that's great. All right, let's do it for Pete.
Oh, a nice bookend here would be hilarious.
A Kings game?
Kings Vegas.
Come on.
Oh, hell
yes.
Stars at Sabres.
Stars at
I
Sabres.
love that for me.
I'm already thinking we should do this every night.
I mean, if we have big slates, I don't think it's a bad idea.
All right. Let's spin
For
it
DJ.
for Dave.
It's a way to guarantee that we like have to watch teams.
You both got awesome ones. I'm gonna.
Please be the Wild. Please be the Wild.
No! We almost had DJ doing a report on a Wild game, which would have been incredible. Instead, he's got Lightning at Devils, which
I'll tell you what. I would have rathered the Wild game. Lightning at Devils is fucking whatever.
it is whatever, but at least you got a 6:45 p.m.er.
I mean, I got a 6:45 p.m.er leading into my 9 p.m.er for the Oilers, so I can do that. I just hope nobody wanted to talk to me or see me.
We really front-ended our reports there because we got 3 of the 4 earliest games.
At least there'll be games that people are more likely to watch. Like, there might not be a whole lot of East Coast people that stay up for the 11 p.m. game,
Yeah,
which I mean,
sure.
I guess we'd
That's
be
what you
informing
would
them
want,
of.
yeah.
But yeah,
So
they can hold us. They can keep us honest if they've also watched the game.
true.
Wait, do ads does YouTube do an ad during the live shows?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Somebody
I mean,
said
probably
not
maybe.
an ad mid-spin. Maybe we were just talking about something or doing some product
No, I think
placement.
they. I mean, they might.
Maybe they got hit by an ad.
All right,
Who
I will
knows?
note Sean did this and somebody in the chat did this. A boss at a past job pointed out to me one time that I never say that something is a good idea. I say that's actually a good idea. He's like, you got to stop being so genuinely surprised when somebody says something to you that you think is smart, because it's just not nice. And I was like, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, I guess there are ads.
You fucker.
Sean said this is actually a good idea. Deej, we get hit with them like 10 ads per live show. I don't hate that.
Oh, really?
We
Oh.
seen any of that?
All
Sean,
right.
you seen any of that?
No, I mean, it's
Sean
it's a
jacked up the
YouTube
ads and
thing.
he's embezzling.
I
Yeah.
wish.
I would love if we found out Sean was embezzling. How do you embezzle on this show?
I would never discover.
I genuinely don't even know how I would. I think ALLCITY would figure out pretty quick.
Okay, somebody says someone got hit with a 60-second unskippable during the spin. That's amazing.
I wish this was like Twitch, where I could send the ads. I could be like, we're doing.
Oh, I
don't
used to
know.
do that for marbles. If somebody won a marbles race and they weren't subscribed to my Twitch channel, I would immediately hit them with an ad.
Hell yeah.
Wait, to them?
Yes.
You can do that specifically to people?
No, but I would run an ad, and because they weren't subscribed, they would
would
get
have to
the
see it,
ad.
yeah.
Somebody said throw $10 on a 16-game thing. We are going to do that. Should we do it here on the show, or should we
No,
do
I
it off
think we look at the slate, we pick it, and then we'll send
we let
out.
it mull over? We have some presentation prep that we have to do the rest of the day.
That's right.
Pete, you want to tell these folks what to do?
Yes, get YouTube Premium so that you don't get hit by ads during our live shows. But also, if you're here, hit the thumbs up button right below the video player. That's the like button, and we'll drive those up. That's what we call a like spike. Get them up there. Also, we hit 9,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you to everybody who is subscribed to the YouTube. Keep those numbers climbing. 10K sounds a lot more fun than 9K.
And we're doing the jersey giveaway
Yes.
in the coming time. We're doing it. We still have not set a date, but you need to be a YouTube subscriber to win the jersey giveaway. One last thing I need to do. 3 stars. Dominic Hasek gets it because I recently on my For You page came across his Twitter. I did not know the Dominator was on Twitter. I did not know what his Twitter account is, and it is a very loud anti-Trump Twitter account. The tweet was, if you vote for Donald Trump and JD Vance, I will not judge you for your choice of political party. I'll judge you for your lack of morals, ethics, and humanity. I will judge you for your support of racism, misogyny, and fascism. So will others. So will history. That is from someone called Andrea Junker. And Dominic Hasek quote tweeted that with, how true. And I was excited to see that, not just because of elements of that I agree with, but because I knew people must be following Dominic Hasek. People must be mad in their replies. Let me race to the replies. And the first thing I found was this. Somebody named Furious George responded, it would be nice if you could make a statement on why you support Kamala. A lot of people in Michigan need to hear it. To which Dominic Hasek replied, thanks for an idea. You know, I cannot vote. I am not a U.S. citizen, ... Then somebody else responded, you were a terrible goalie. And another person said, literally a Hall of Fame goalie, cope. So I saw that first tweet, expected a sort of experience, and got exactly that. So thank you, Dominic Hasek, for having a politically and humanitarianly twinged Twitter account that gets people mad online.
It's also like very few of his tweets are in English.
Most
of them are in Czech or emojis, which is very funny to me.
That rocks. That's my legend. That's my Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh, he's my favorite goalie ever. I think he's the best goalie
Yeah,
ever.
I agree. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
and he's also the most fun goalie.
I also liked, as Emily noted, so when the person's like, hey, make sure you clarify why you're voting for Kamala, because in Michigan, people, and use like, oh, I'm not voting for Kamala. I can't. So the Emily noted, just in it for love of the game.
Participating in politics, especially online, seems like the worst thing in the worst experience in the world these days. So for the fact that like he's just like, hey, I'm gonna get in there. I can't actually. There's no end
mixing it up
for me.
Literally for the love of the game.
I can't really do any of this, but I'm going to participate.
I think I believe it was Shania Twain who at one point was like, I'll tell you what. I thought that Trump would have made a good president, but a few months in,
oh my God,
I really would not have voted for him.
Of
course, I'm not a U.S. citizen, so I didn't vote for him in the first place. But wow, was I wrong about that? It was like, you didn't have to say any of that.
It was like, it was the
you don't have to apologize for your vote that you didn't do.
Yeah.
It was the O.J. Simpson thing. It was like, I didn't do it, but if I did,
I would.
Here's what I would have done, and also I regret it. I regret this whole hypothetical situation.
Thank you to Dominic Hasek. Thank you to Jordan Spence. Thank you to the wheel that is going to yield some fun reports tomorrow. You can get those on the show on the Wednesday ep of What Chaos. Appreciate you all. Make sure you subscribe, stay subscribed, do 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and everything, or leave reviews, whatever you like to do. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Toodles.
We all silly like the mayor.